DJ, the hot rumor today in the NFL was that the Chargers weren't opposed to moving to London permanently. We saw that the owner came out and kind of debunked that myth. But let's play a quick hypothetical. Let's say that the only way the Chargers or an NFL team in general wouldn't move across seas in the future is if you went an entire year without drinking a single beer. Would you be able to do it?
I'd be overseas in a hot minute. I could. I can't hold up for a whole week. How am I supposed to hold up for a whole year?
I'm with you. We are both anti games overseas, but when it comes to beer, we can't just let that go. And let's get loaded because this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finished last.
Wait. Now before we start, where was your beer? What happened, DJ?
I had a rough Saturday night. I drank for about a week straight. I had a Saturday night that I stayed out. I busted daylight savings time. Flew past that, so it was 2:00. It went back to 1, and then I still stayed out till 3:30 in the morning.
Oh God, dude! For new listeners, DJ, you are like 30-some years old. You can't be doing that. What do you gotta know better?
I slept till 11:50 the next day. It was great.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes, this is week 10 in the NFL. This is our fantasy football preview podcast. I am Ben Morgan. That is DJ Primo. And I had to laugh my ass off because before the week 9 game started on Sunday, DJ called me like as the Dolphins game start. And we never called each other. Like he won't call me during a Dolphins game. I'm not going to call him during a Packers game. We know that. You called me as the Dolphins game was kicking off. I'm like, dude, the only reason he's calling me is like his wife died or something. What in the world was wrong with you?
Life was a mess at the time. I was drunk. I was discombobulated. My body knew it must have been football time. So like I shot out of bed. I looked around. I was home. It was 11:50. Somehow I got up. I ran out here. I wish I wouldn't have gotten up in time to put some bets in because they didn't go well. But I was able to get like 3 bets in before the noon game. Stupid idea. I looked. There was already a football game that had been played that day. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm somehow alive. Football's being played. It's already done. It was terrible. So I don't know. Maybe I called you out of. I was just panicking. I was in a panic.
Probably. Oh my gosh.
I just thought our Twitter account probably went silent, and I was like, I don't know if anybody talked to anybody because we were both lit the night before.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of Twitter interactions on Sunday like we typically did because I had a wedding and I thought I was in rough shape, and then I witnessed what was happening to you, and I said, you know what? It's almost like I didn't even drink last night.
Yeah, you were probably a sober bird compared to me. I was definitely drunk till about 2:00 that next day.
Yeah, that's when you just got lucky that the Packers didn't play till like 3:30, so you can at least see the screen by the time the game starts.
It was incredible.
That's brutal.
But they played like they felt like I was.
They played as you felt. That's exactly right.
I mean, it felt like, and I was at peace with it as I was sitting there. I was like, this is kind of how this game should be going.
Yeah, exactly. They play how you feel. That's exactly. That's when you know you got that voodoo going.
And I told everybody they lose, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you did call that one as well. But yes, today we're talking, as always in this one, we got fantasy football, listener questions, we got our daily fantasy stacks, bargain, must-use guys, general advice. But DJ, you are our bargain guy when it comes to this podcast, and let's hear who your bargain quarterback is this week. Because if I saw the note right, I have got an issue with your pick.
See, it's funny because I didn't have time to get a FanDuel lineup in, and thank God I didn't, because those were by far the worst picks I've ever gotten in our bargain DFS plays. But they're a bargain for a reason. You know what? I've been money all season. Got to give me the benefit of the doubt 90% of the time right now. I'm going back to this guy. I believe in his talent. This guy is a talent. He'll pull something together at some point. I got Sam Darnold, 7,200, 2 weeks in a row versus the New York Giants. Everybody's going to pass him up. Everybody's going to forget about him. Giants are 25th against the pass. 25th in the league against the pass. You saw what they did last night or Monday night against the Cowboys. Obviously, I'd hardly call the Jets the Cowboys, but they did beat the shit out of the Cowboys not too long ago. So I don't know if that means anything.
Nope.
It's the battle. It's the battle for home field advantage, right? And there might be black cats running around. So, but the Giants are coming off a short week. They're after getting blitzed by Dallas. They're down a little bit. There's a black cat running on the field. If there's a black cat on the field, I don't like the Giants' chances to win another game this single year. I trust Darnold. He looks amazing on the first drive, and I don't think that's his fault. I think Adam Gase is really good at calling like the first 7 plays, and then doesn't know what to do after that, like at all. So he just runs trash, like Mike McCarthy type trash, and they just don't have the line. They remind me of the Browns. They just don't have the line to block for him and give him time. He's always running around.
There was 4 words you said there, and they were, I trust Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's good.
I almost want, dude, you know what he's good at right now? He's good at seeing ghosts. That's a real thing. DJ, that game against the Cowboys, he had 20 fantasy points. That's what you want out of your quarterback. Like, if you're going to be in the money when it comes to FanDuel, you want your quarterback to be around at least 20. Other games he's played in this season, 13, 15, 13, and negative 2.5. DJ, you can pick from anyone in the world. And here's the thing. When it comes to a bargain quarterback, yeah, maybe 7,200 in FanDuel isn't all that much. Sam Darnold shouldn't be much more than $5,000 right now. That team, I watched the definition of incompetence on Sunday as the Dolphins, who like lead the league in that stat, in the incompetence stat. The Jets looked like the team that were purposely trying to mess up everything. Did you see the snap that hit Sam Darnold and he got into it with his center? Like, there's nothing going on that's any good with that team right now. Me and you thought there was a chance. Like, okay, like Adam Gase has got to get the locker room back. He's got to get back on Le'Veon Bell's good side. He's got to get back with Jamal Adams. Against the Dolphins was the perfect opportunity for that. They fell flat on their face. I typically can find a little bit of reasoning to agree with you. I can't. I'm not with Sam Darnold. I can't do it.
Sam Darnold's a talent. He's a talent. Adam Gase is screwing it up. He'll be fine. He'll have his highlights because he's a good quarterback, and he can manage his way around Adam Gase every now and then. He's going to be a good quarterback because they're going to get rid of him after, hopefully soon. Hopefully not after this year. Hopefully as soon as possible. How is it that Adam Gase is like the only guy in the league who can like not win for the Dolphins, but then find a way to get the Dolphins to win when they're trying to tank? It's just incredible. Like, that's how bad he is. He can give them a win, but he's not playing for their team.
That's how cursed. That's what Adam Gase is doing to the Dolphins right now. That's how bad this has got. I do want to talk. I have my guy coming up here, but let's talk about another quarterback from that draft class, because Lamar Jackson, I don't know if I've seen this yet this year, the most expensive quarterback on the FanDuel slate this week. Last week against the Patriots, there's so much praise around him. That's all I've been hearing from like national media. He only threw for 163 yards. He only threw for 1 touchdown. But, DJ, is it time for me and you, the people that are kind of anti-Jackson, is it time for us to just consider him, yeah, he's a viable guy when it comes to fantasy? I know he's not the quarterback that we typically like seek out for our teams for fantasy, but what they're doing and the uncertainty that surrounds what they're going to do on every snap and his ability as a runner and for what it just did against the best defense in the league, do we just need to give in? Like, are we wrong?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely viable for fantasy. I don't think it's going to continue like year after year after year. And even in the playoffs last year, the Chargers got to play Lamar Jackson one time, and then they got to play him again, and it was a completely different game. You kind of get the feel, the smell for it. I almost convinced the Patriots to just like, let's let them do whatever they want. So when we meet them in the playoffs, we just shut it down, just like they usually do.
Right.
But I don't know. He's just not the future to me. He's not the future of the league. He's another guy who comes in, like a Colin Kaepernick or Robert Griffin or like that comes in. I'm just naming black guys, apparently. But guys that are just pure running quarter, that just literally most of their game is based off of running. And if you just run, like that's what he does. He runs, and he's not very good at throwing, and it doesn't look good either. Like it's not a good throwing motion. There's nothing good about it. It's gonna stop. This is the NFL. You can't just be one dimensional. It's not gonna work. It might work right now for a little bit. You start playing some tougher teams. Come playoff time, that shit's gonna change real quick, and then a year or two down the road. But yes, he's very viable for fantasy football. Very viable for fantasy football right now. Yeah, he's probably one of the most athletic quarterbacks I've ever seen, like Michael Vick and him. But
Dude,
it's gonna change.
That's the thing, man. It's crazy. Like he's running and he's got a guy that is like has a great angle on him, and he just does like this super like it's almost like a LaShawn McCoy like jump cut that he just pulls off, and he turns what could be like a 2 or 3 yard loss into like at least a 6 yard gain every single play. And I am willing to concede, like, yeah, he's a fantasy viable guy. I kind of want to just echo what you said, so I won't say it again. But I will talk about my quarterback this week. He's a little bit more expensive than Darnold, but it's Kyler Murray, another running quarterback against the Bucs. Just posted 23 points last week against the best pass defense in the league in the 49ers. Now, against the Buccaneers, 31st ranked pass D, just came off a fresh game against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, allowing 5 touchdown passes. The over-under of this game, from what I saw yesterday anyways, was a weekly high of 52. There are points to be had in this game. I think it's going to be a little bit back and forth. This is probably a good week for you as a Jameis Winston guy. Mike Evans is turning it on. This could be a bit of a shootout. I don't trust what the Cardinals are going to be able to do on the ground. I think Kenyon Drake's a fine addition, but I think he can get it done like as a pass catcher as well. I just really like the value that you're seeing here. I was checking like this week's FanDuel, like the players out. I didn't fall in love with that many quarterbacks, but I'm probably going to use Murray in every single one of my lineups.
My mind floated off to another quarterback. And can we just talk about what Baker Mayfield looked like in that picture that everybody showed? Can we?
There's so many good things. What's your favorite?
He looked like an '80s porn star who just realized he got HIV.
That's a good one. I think my favorite one was he looked like one of the bad guys in the Home Alone movie.
I'm trying to make up some off the top of my head because I saw so many. Look like a serial killer getting his mugshot.
Yeah, dude, all of those are like so accurate.
I'm just making things up right now. Like
he's Michael Scott when he has the coat on and he flips it over and he's got his finger through his pants hole and he's waving his finger around.
Oh my god!
He's all of those things.
Oh my! I'm trying to think of another one, but it's tough. There were some good ones. This guy shaved 3 times during a football. I don't even understand how that works.
Dude, it's pretty amazing. That whole thing, well, we talked about this, man, in Cleveland this year with all those personalities, with all the hype. Dude, if it doesn't go well, it's going to blow up. And we're seeing it like slowly. Like there's the reports of Odell Beckham saying he can't get the ball for the life of him, that he's disputed. You got Baker Mayfield looking homeless after games. The coach can't go through any more scrutiny right now. Like this shit's all coming back. And now you got Kareem Hunt coming back as well. So like, if this doesn't work out, man, it is just going to blow up.
I can't stop loving. I don't even care what I predicted. I can't stop loving that this team is legitimately
They're
like
cursed.
the Dolphins are bad. The Redskins, everybody hates,
Oh.
but the Browns are just the laughing stock of the NFL for so long. I just saw a screenshot. Just saw it today. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but you know those Baker Mayfield commercials where the stadium is like his house.
Yeah.
I saw one where somebody screenshotted him starting the lawnmower, and it was like Baker Mayfield preparing for his career after getting cut from the Browns.
They're just getting owned right now, which kind of sucks because they didn't do anything to deserve this. If anything, they've done nothing to deserve this. They just got guys with big personalities now.
And you know who's bathing in this shit? Just golden showers, just living it up.
Eli Manning.
Colin Cowherd has got the biggest. He's jerking off every time he watches Baker Mayfield play this year.
Yeah,
It's just incredible.
And how about Eli Manning? He made Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, and it's pathetic how Baker might be crappy. Like he might be that bad because Eli Manning would throw the ball to him with his eyes closed. Somehow find him because he's that type of a guy. You just give him the ball. Like realize you just throw him the ball. You just do it. You just have to. Doesn't matter.
Nope. There's certain guys in this league you need to force targets to. I realize it's not always there. You have to do it. It's the Julio Joneses, the Odell Beckhams. Like these are the kind of guys you can't just ignore. It doesn't matter. You throw them the fucking ball.
Just get rid of it. Just throw it.
Yeah. Oh, let's scoot on from some quarterbacks to some running backs. What do you got for a bargain this week?
All right, I don't understand how this guy is only 7,000 in this matchup. Derrick Henry versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I said he should be at least 7,800 against this run defense. People said, think they're improved or whatever. They had to change their style a little bit, but I'm assuming Patrick Mahomes is going to be back. They're 29th against the run, and you know what? When Patrick Mahomes is back and teams have realized they can do, like Houston, what they did with Carlos Hyde, other teams like that, you need to establish the run and keep Mahomes off the field. Henry's going to carry the ball 35 times. He's going to get, even if he doesn't get a ton of rush yards yards per carry, he's going to have 130 yards just based off of the amount of carries he's going to get in this game. He should have a monster game. There shouldn't be many issues for Derrick Henry not going for 100 yards. I think that's his floor in this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. When I looked at it, he was the first name that popped to me. The only reason I didn't add him to my list was just in case Mahomes plays, in case they get up early, then I don't like Henry quite as much.
I prefer Mahomes to play.
Well, so do I. I have him in fantasy.
No, I prefer to have him play for Derrick Henry's case, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't even realize this today, but Derrick Henry is a top 8 back right now in fantasy. He's just crushing it in general. So yeah, I love this pick. Like I said, my only hesitation was, God, if they get down 14 early in this game in the first quarter, he could have that game where he only gets 12 carries for 30 yards. It could be another one of those. We've seen it so many times with him. That's my only hesitation. But like you said, I was shocked. $7,000 for Derrick Henry, who's having all around probably his most consistent season that we've seen him have so far.
Yeah, he's been solid, and this is the classic case of the curse of Ben. Just let me know who you're going to jump off next year, and I am jumping on that trade immediately.
I can already tell you, it's Davante Adams. Take him next year, 15 touchdowns.
Perfect. He's already, he's only been injured, so you're going to jump off the Davante Adams train.
It's because I've had him twice, and he's done this to me twice.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. No, it's not like he's going to not give you some monster games at the end of the season. Hopefully you make the playoffs so that you can enjoy that.
I'm going to hold this. I'm going to hold you to this. It's your ass.
He's going to have monster games. He's Davante Adams.
DJ, I went with your route this way on the bargain. So I've got 2 bargain guys I'm going to talk about quick, but then I have a question about an expensive guy I want to run by you. So real quick, my 2 bargain plays. Number 1, Devin Singletary. He's only 6,700 at Cleveland.
Oh my gosh.
He's had double digits in 4 of the 5 games he's played. Last week, he had a season-high 21.5 points against the Redskins. Season-high carries. I think he had 20 in that game.
Why did they tell us?
Why did who tell us what?
Why did they tell us he was going to get a bajillion carries? I am sitting on my bench in a game that I needed to win.
Doesn't that suck?
Won.
Yeah, because now he's got the Browns in the 23rd ranked defense, and we've seen teams just run all over the Browns and what kind of train wreck that they can be. They knew that Denver was going to try to run the ball in that game, and they still couldn't do anything about it. So, like Devin Singletary, my other guy, 6,200 on FanDuel is Jalen Samuels. They play the Rams. He only had 10 rushing yards on 8 carries last week. That's dog ass. But he caught all 13 of his targets. And on FanDuel, you get a half PPR. That's gold right there. You can't make that up. And we all know that Pittsburgh's running backs are just super banged up right now. It sounds like Connor might be good to go, so maybe monitor that. But Benny Snell's definitely out. I just see the Rams putting up a bunch of numbers in this game after their bye week. I think it's going to be a bit back and forth. So even if James Conner plays, I think you're going to get enough Jalen Samuels in the pass game again. He ain't going to get 13 catches on 13 targets. But man, if he gets 7 or 8 catches, if they sprinkle in a couple of runs, I think he can live up to that price tag. So I like him as a bargain option as well. But the expensive guy I wanted to tell you about, because I don't know if I've really seen a running back quite this expensive. Last year, or 2 years ago, I think Alvin Kamara might have flirted with this number. But on FanDuel, Christian McCaffrey is $10,500. Is there any chance that you would put a lineup together to even that would include him? Because you'd have to play so many bargains that if McCaffrey doesn't put up 30-some points, your team's probably going to be garbage.
I can't picture myself playing Christian McCaffrey against the Packers.
Yeah, against your own team, yeah.
Because that feels terrible. That price point, I'm kind of embarrassed by that, because that makes me think that this team just is so negatively viewed in the run, which they are, because they can't stop the run really. But it shows the area of weakness, and I gotta think that Mike Pettin and this defense is good enough to improve as the season goes on. They've been kind of beat up the middle. I think they'll work towards that. I just think Mike Pettin is too good of a coordinator to allow him to get $10,500 worth of fantasy
points
worth of FanDuel points in order for him to be at that price point. I think I'm worried about Martinez because he's just been real bad this year. I don't know what's going on with him. He struggled to tackle. He struggled to cover guys out of the backfield. He's just not doing it well. Hopefully they send Savage at him a little bit more and just spy him in general.
Right.
But I have to think that Mike Pettin is good enough to at least slow him down. They have been a really good bend but don't break defense this year. They kept the Packers in the game for the whole first half against San Diego. They only gave up 9 points.
Just field goal after field goal in that game. Yeah,
they were just a touchdown away from being right back into another touchdown or field goal from taking the league. So no, that's way too much. I don't think he gets $10,500 worth of points against the Packers.
I'm with you. Part of me wants to just put him in a lineup and see what I can build around him, just to see what that lineup looks like. The funny thing, though, about McCaffrey is I've talked about this before. The dude has become matchup proof because of how they treat him as a pass catcher. And granted, Curtis Samuel is playing better this year. DJ Moore is actually done pretty good. He hasn't had that boom week, but he's done fine. They still have Greg Olsen. They've got guys, but Christian McCaffrey still gets it done as a receiver despite having those guys. So it's basically it doesn't matter who he's playing. You just got to find a way to use him. But he's to the point now at $10,500. I don't know what the hell you're going to be able to pair with that. So I might play around with it this week and see what the hell happens. But for the most part, I am likely staying away from that one as well. Let's see what you have here for your bargain wide receiver.
And I'm not really going against what I say, but I am picking against Green Bay here. I'm going way down the bargain list. I'm going DJ Moore, who's getting only $5,800 at Green Bay. I know this guy. I understand. He's only scored one touchdown this year. But Green Bay, Jair is a great cornerback. He's top 10, probably top 5 but he could be top 5 if he stops giving up the big plays. But they are. Right now, they are susceptible to big plays. He's taking some risks. If he doesn't take those risks, he's always on guys' hips. He's there all the time. But like I said last week, he doesn't move from side to side. He doesn't chase a guy around. So guys are going to move him around. Mike Williams had a monster game on the left side of it. I think it was mostly on the left side of the field against the Packers. He just had a giant game. So I imagine DJ Moore is kind of going to be moving around and taking advantage of those matchups. He's a one-on-one monster. He's a target monster. He's a reception freak. Like I said just a second ago, all the focus is going to be on McCaffrey, and I'm scared. I'm scared that DJ Moore is going to have a really big game, but it's a guy that I would use at only $5,800 because I think the Packers defense has been known as, and they're good at getting to the passer. They're good at sacking. They struggled last week. I think they're going to completely change because they are a Super Bowl contending team. They're good at Kyle Allen's probably going to be a little nervous against a defense that can get to him. But I'm just worried about the big play ability and DJ Moore's ability to just beat guys one-on-one this year so far. He's just been good.
Yeah, I'm really taking a dive into his numbers here for the first time in a while. And if you count week 1's 9, if you can get creative here, you count his 9 as a double digit. He's only had 2 other weeks the entire season that he didn't reach double digits. So what that's telling me is it's a pretty safe play. He's not going to be the boom play. His biggest was actually last week against a pretty good Titans defense, 13.6, and that came without a touchdown. So that, once again, is telling me he's a very safe play. He's not dependent on the touchdown as well. So I think, what did you say his salary was, $5,800?
He scored a touchdown in week 1 or 2, though. How many points did he have then?
Week 3, he hit his touchdown against the Cardinals. He only had 1 catch that game, which is pretty amazing.
That was a big touchdown, too, if I remember. It was 40, 50 yards.
52-yarder in that one.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's been really consistent with targets and yards and receptions. It's just the touchdowns haven't come. So yeah, if you can throw his typical, it looks like he averages around 6 catches a game. It looks like he's averaging around 70 to 80 yards per game. You throw a touchdown on top of that, he easily returns that ROI as well. So hey, here's an idea: use Christian McCaffrey and stack him with DJ Moore, and then just see what happens, because you're going to need these bargains anyways.
Yeah, there you go.
Not a bad idea. I like that play. This week for wide receivers, DJ, I didn't necessarily pick one or two of them out. I just have a couple of observations I pointed out, and I want to get your opinion on. Observation number one from the wide receiver position. The price tag has finally caught up with Cooper Kupp. He's the fourth most expensive receiver this week. He's $8,100 at Pittsburgh. He's got 4 games this year over 22 fantasy points. So not only is he a very consistent guy, a safe guy like DJ Moore, he provides that boom, 4 games over 22 fantasy points. So observation one is the price tag has caught up with Cooper Kupp. My second well, actually, go ahead and talk about that one first, because I kind of need to rant for a second on my second observation.
Did you say who they were playing the Rams? They've got...
Yeah, they play the Steelers this week.
I mean, yeah, guys have been a slot monster. There's nobody really in the slot in the league that can cover him, and Brandon Cooks has been non-existent, so he hasn't affected it. I don't think guys have had to cover him. Robert Woods has been solid so far this year, and Josh Reynolds is just going to come in and kind of fill in that Brandon Cooks position. So I don't think anything's going to change. If anything, Josh Reynolds might provide more of a spark than Brandon Cooks is this year. I'm really pissed at him right now, if you can't tell. He's just uncoverable in the middle of the field. He's Julian Edelman and Wes Welker on steroids. They're the two of them want to be like Cooper Kupp right now. That's exactly what he is.
And he's doing this, I don't want to say fresh off knee injury or surgery, but more than what we've seen recently. So what he's doing right now is super impressive. Hats off to that guy. I'm not even wearing one, but if I had one on, it'd be off. Here's my second observation. Devontae Parker right now remaining a bargain. He's 5,800 this week at Indy. He's at double-digit fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 and a touchdown in 4 of his last 5. And here's the other thing. The Miami Dolphins just lost Preston Williams for the remainder of the season, and here's where my rant comes in. Not only for the remainder of this season, but it sounds like, based on the report with his timetable, probably into next offseason, maybe even into preseason. So give me your take on Parker, but also Miami Dolphins. What are you doing putting your young stud, 6'5" wide receiver at punt returner when he doesn't provide the shiftiness, the shakiness? What are you doing? Why can't we have nice things? Why did you hurt my man's knee? I'm pissed.
I actually am so bored with the fact that you're talking about the Dolphins right now that I just want to move on from this. This is like talking about Troy.
They won.
I don't give a shit, dude.
They won. They're relevant.
Honestly, you're boring everybody. Listeners just tuned out. They did. I'm trying to bring them back in the entertainment. Everybody's like, Preston who? Devontae who cares? Devontae who cares? Move on.
Well, I'm going to need a lot more beers here to make up for the feelings that you just hurt. Kind of upset. If you didn't know, I'm very passionate about not having 6'5" wide receivers at punt return.
I just don't even care, dude.
Fine. Who's your bargain tight end?
Goddamn 700-pound center back there, and I wouldn't make a difference for the Dolphins. That might be the only thing that gave them attention.
I wish they would have.
Don't care.
Well, let's talk about your bargain tight end then. I'll be in the corner here crying.
Another person I don't. This is another thing. They're almost as little. I'm trying to. How do I phrase it? They're almost interest me as least as the Dolphins do.
I know what you're trying to say.
More interest in the Dolphins. A little bit more interest in OJ Howard than I do in the Dolphins. OJ Howard, I just said it, $5,000 versus Arizona. Worst team against tight ends. They just have been all year. Howard has to get it going. He's one of those guys that I'm like, he's too talented for me not to keep going back to the well. I keep doing that with Michael Gallup, who finally scored a touchdown on Monday. It was an awesomely athletic touchdown. But he's going to be locked and loaded, ready for this game. It sounds like Bruce Arians is excited to get him back. I think they're going to force the ball to him. 70 yards and a touchdown for O.J. Howard this week. That's a great return.
Yeah, we're not, as always, we're not going to spend a ton of time on tight end, so I'll just fly with your analysis there. You know how I feel about O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
So here's my strategy this week when it comes to tight end. I want you to fill out your lineup. I want you to save the tight end position till the very end. I want you to see how much money you have left over. If you have 6,400 or more available, I want you to plug in Evan Ingram against the Jets. I know he got a little bit banged up on Monday night against the Cowboys, so keep an eye on that. But if you have 6,400 or more, use Evan Ingram. If you don't, slide back to however much Jared Cook cost if he's back. He's been out like 2 or 3 weeks. He's had the bye week. I pray to God that I hope he's back. He had a couple of touchdowns right before he got hurt. I know that Drew Brees is back and who wasn't like targeting him like crazy, but it's the tight end position. You just need a touchdown. I think Jared Cook can provide that this week. So if you have the money, Evan Ingram. If you don't have the money, Jared Cook. Tight end talk is over. DJ, let's go to fantasy football listener questions. You need to pick one of these guys in a half PPR. You got AJ Green against the Ravens, Zach Pascal against the Miami Dolphins, Jarvis Landry against the Bills, or Brandon Cooks against the Steelers.
I mean, Brandon Cooks is just not going to play this week, so let's rule him out. AJ Green is the guy coming off an injury. God, this is a terrible choice. I don't know.
Great. People ask us for our opinion. You can't just say, I don't know. You got to have a take.
You play AJ Green, I guess, because whoever the quarterback is there is just going to toss it up to him.
See, that crossed my mind for a second that I just don't like. I never like using the guy like the first time that he's back for the entire season.
Yeah, but you won't do that you wouldn't do that with like Julio you would and Odell and Devontae and apparently Cooper Kupp.
So my initial reaction outside of AJ Green was use Pascal against the Dolphins. And then I saw a stat that since the Dolphins bye week, they actually, despite having no one in the secondary, they actually have been that bad against the pass. And we don't know what's going to happen with Jacoby Brissett as of Tuesday night when we're recording this. We don't know who's playing quarterback right now for the Colts. My sneaky play here is Jarvis Landry. I know he's been the most unsexy wide receiver pick this year, but he did score last week. And despite everything that's going on right now with Cleveland, at some point they're going to have to turn it on. And I said this about that Bills defense. I think it's good, but when I've been watching it, it has not been great. You can pass against them. I think Jarvis Landry could go back-to-back weeks with a touchdown here. I'm actually going to use Jarvis Landry.
No, I'm not using anybody on the Cleveland Browns anymore.
Well, I'm not going to use Sam Darnold anymore, so take that.
Sam Darnold.
This one, you need 3 of these 4. So basically, who are you not playing in a half PPR? Julio Jones versus the Saints, Odell Beckham versus the Bills, Tyler Lockett Monday night versus the 49ers, or Kenny Galladay versus the Bears. Which one are you sitting?
Still sitting. It's weird to say this, but I'm still sitting OBJ. Like, I gotta see it. But Lockett has been dominant. I don't care if it's San Francisco. Russell Wilson has a way to run around, and when he finds his guy, it's Lockett. Galladay has been just a monster this year, and so Stafford has been great as well. And Julio's Julio. I can't fathom using OBJ right now. I just can't do it.
Is there any chance that like Julio's number 2 on that list? Like, is he that guy that you're starting every week? Because I always thought Odell Beckham is that guy that you're starting every week. But he's proved this week or this year, maybe it's not always the case. But, God, I'm just looking at Julio's numbers. So the Falcons have been trash. Like, but the last 3 weeks, 15 points, 12 points, and 20 points. He's still doing it.
Yeah, it's still Julio. I mean, Julio's still Julio. He's playable. OBJ, I traded him away, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
What did you get for him?
Cortland Sutton and...
If you tell me this week 4 preseason that you had a trade that involved Odell Beckham and Cortland Sutton and you won it because Odell Beckham hasn't scored since and Cortland Sutton has, I would have laughed you off this podcast. But it's a real thing.
Cortland Sutton and Mark Andrews, and it's the best trade I've made. I'm one of the best. I'm the hottest team in the league that we're in that I made that trade. I went from 4 losses in a row to 5 wins in a row, and I'm tied for second. There's like 2 or 3 games tied for first.
That league's a cluster right now. Yeah, that league is a cluster right now. DJ, anything else you'd like to add to this before we wrap it up and tune into some first night, basically, of some college hoops? I'm pumped.
Yeah, I feel like Nick Chubb's the only guy that's startable on the Cleveland Browns right now.
That and Jarvis Landry.
Nope.
Well, as always, check us out on Twitter at Loaded Box. Check out our website, loadedboxpodcast.com. Our next episode, we'll be back later this week with our game by game against the spread and straight up picks. We're available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe, rate, review. DJ, send us out.
Bye.